Hello, welcome to this session on fundamental torque equations of electric drives. At the outset, here is a tabular form which shows the parameters of a linear motion system and that of a rotational motion system. Our electric drive being a rotational motion system. A linear motion system or a straight line motion system is characterized by parameters like mass, displacement, velocity, acceleration, momentum, kinetic energy half mv square, and force equal to ma, mass into acceleration. Similarly, a rotational system is characterized by moment of inertia, angular displacement, angular velocity, angular acceleration, angular momentum, angular kinetic energy, and torque in place of force. The mass m in linear system is equivalent to moment of inertia I in rotational system, displacement x equivalent to angular displacement theta, velocity equivalent to angular velocity omega, acceleration equivalent to angular acceleration alpha, momentum in a linear system is given by P equal to mv, whereas in rotational system, angular momentum is given by moment of inertia times angular velocity I omega. Kinetic energy is half mv square in a linear system, whereas it is half I omega square in a rotational system. The force F equal to ma in a linear system is equivalent to torque I times alpha, moment of inertia into angular acceleration. Here also a relation between torque and force is shown. Torque is force multiplied by the radius, which is the distance between the. We begin with Newton's second law of motion. It states that the rate of change of momentum of a body is directly proportional to the force applied, and this change in momentum takes place in the direction of the applied force. A body is shown here which is having a mass m0 and occupying a position x0. When a force is applied to the body at a time t0, then the body will experience a change of momentum with time. This relation F equals to d by dt of momentum, that is d by dt of mv, is the differential form of Newton's second law. If we expand this formula, it will give F equal to m dv by dt plus v dm by dt. If the mass is constant, then we can ignore the term dm by dt. So the equation reduces to F equal to m dv by dt. dv by dt is change in velocity with time, that means acceleration. That is how we obtain F equal to ma relation. With a variable mass system, like for example a rocket, which loses significant amount of its mass, that is fuel, during the flight in the form of exhaust, Newton's law here gives F equal to m dv by dt plus v dm by dt, because there is a change in velocity as the rocket accelerates, and there is a change in mass as well. There is a decrease in mass of the rocket as the rocket moves upwards. With this knowledge, as we move ahead, here is the diagram of a drive, a motor coupled to a load. The motor and load together have a moment of inertia of k of j kg meter square. The weight, the mass of the system is represented by moment of inertia j here. Instead of using the letter I, usual symbol I am using j here. Then omega m is the instantaneous angular velocity of the motor shaft. T is the instantaneous value of torque developed by motor in Newton meters. TL is the instantaneous value of load torque referred to the motor shaft. This includes load torque may include friction torque, windage torque. Then, according to Newton's second law of motion, this system is described by a torque equation. T minus TL, that is the net torque, equals d by dt of angular momentum j omega m. That gives T minus TL equals to j d omega by dt plus omega dj by dt, like we have seen in a linear variable mass system F equal to m dv by dt plus v dm by dt. The torque T here depends on type of motor used. If it is an induction motor, torque equation is something, and if it is a DC motor, torque equation is something. It depends upon the motor used. TL depends on the application. Mainly it consists of friction or windage components. And J, moment of inertia, is given by WR square. The W is the weight of the system and R is the radius of the system. This is the general formula. So for a real drive where there is dj by dt, variable inertia, as the motor rotates, a reel is wound over the drum. In such a case, the equation T minus TL equals j d omega by dt plus omega dj by dt is applicable. Now, most of the applications where the inertia is constant, j doesn't change, then we can make dj by dt 0. Therefore, your equation reduces to T minus TL equal to j d omega by dt, or T equals to TL plus j d omega by dt. This j d omega by dt is called dynamic torque because it is present in transient operations only, not at steady state. Transient operations means acceleration and deceleration. So your drive accelerates or decelerates depending upon whether T is greater than TL or less than TL. During acceleration and also during starting, motor should supply dynamic torque and load torque in order to overcome drive inertia. That is what this equation T equals TL plus j d omega by dt tells. But during deceleration and braking, your dynamic torque sign will change. It will become negative because it is decrease in speed, d omega by dt will be negative. In such a case, it will come to the help of motor torque. T plus j d omega by dt will be equal to TL. That means your dynamic torque is helping motor torque and maintains motion by extracting stored kinetic energy. So the job of j d omega by dt is to store or extract kinetic energy. This energy associated with dynamic torque, is given by half j omega square. When steady state is reached, then d omega by dt becomes 0. Your equation becomes T equal to TL. This is the steady state torque equation. For applications where the moment of inertia is large, for example, electric trains which have high mass, your motor torque must exceed the load torque by a large amount in order to get adequate acceleration. So, because the equation is given here, if J is very high, then your T must be very high. T should be very much greater than TL. In applications, where fast response and fast acceleration is desired, their motor torque should be maintained at the highest value, and motor and load system must be designed with least possible inertia, T greater than TL and least J, because from the equation T minus TL equals to J d omega by dt, we can derive the time of transient operation equation. Simply rewriting it in terms of dt and integrating, you will get a time of operation as J times integral d omega by T minus TL. So more the T is and less the J is, your time of operation is going to be less. Less time means fast operation. Here is a numerical on transient time. A drive has following parameters J, T, TL. Initially the drive is operating in steady state. Now it is to be reversed. That means its speed has to be reversed. For this, motor characteristic is changed to T equal to minus 100 minus 0.1 N Newton meters. Calculate the time of reversal. Now there are two steady states, initial steady state and final steady state. For initial steady state, you can use the equation T minus TL equal to 0, which gives you the speed of 666.7 rpm. Final steady state speed is also obtained by using the same equation T minus TL equal to 0, but this time your T should be not 100 minus 0.1 N, it should be minus 100 minus 0.1 N. So this will give you N equal to minus 666.7 rpm. Now using the formula just seen in the previous slide, T equals to J times integral d omega by T minus TL. I'm writing omega in terms of N here. Omega is in radians per second, N is in rpm. You will get the time of operation as 25.58 seconds. Here one important point is your upper limit N2 is taken as 95% of final steady state speed. So if it is 100% of final steady state speed, you will not be getting your answer. So because transients are assumed to be over when the response reaches 90% of final state, you can use this formula N2 equal to 0.95 into minus 666.7 to get valid answer. In systems where there are gears, sometimes we want a reduction in speed or increase in speed. So some loads are connected to motor through gears arrangement. The diagram is shown here. One wheel is called a drive, the other one is called driven. Drive is where motor is connected and driven wheel is load. In such a system, the driven wheel rotates in a direction opposite to that of motor, as shown. Also, the speed of driven wheel is A1 times the speed of motor, where A1 is the inverse ratio of the number of gear tooths of the two wheels. Less the number of tooth, higher the speed. So the block diagram of that system is also shown here. A motor having a direct connected load torque component TL0 and another load TL1 connected through gears. Small n is the number of gears in the motor drive base, and number of tooth in the motor drive gears, and N1 is the number of tooth in the load gears. The ratio omega m1 by omega m will give you inverse ratio of the number of gears in the teeth, which is A1. In such a system, if you want to find the total moment of inertia, J0 is the moment of inertia of motor and the directly coupled load. J1 is the moment of inertia of the gear coupled load. If you want the total moment of inertia, then it is given by obtaining the kinetic energy half j omega square, where j is the total moment of inertia, is equal to half j naught omega square plus half j1 omega square, omega m1 square. We substitute because the load direct coupled load has decreased speed. Now if you substitute in place of omega m1 a1 omega, you will get j equals to j naught plus a1 square j1. So this is the moment of inertia equation for a directly coupled load plus a geared coupled load. Here A1 is the ratio of the gear tooth. Similarly, if you find the total load torque by finding the power, total power TL omega m equal to directly coupled load power TL naught omega m plus geared coupled load TL1 omega m1 divided by eta 1. Here eta 1 is the efficiency of the gear. When this is used here to take into account the mechanical losses occurring in the gears. So that is very important. Similarly, here also, if you substitute omega m1 equal to a1 omega m, it gets cancelled, giving you TL equal total load torque TL equal to directly coupled load torque TL0 plus a1 TL1 by eta 1. There are some loads where there is translational motion. One such load is shown here. It consists of a drum directly coupled to the load, and a rope is wound over the drum. The one end of the rope is fixed, another end is connected to the load, which has to be moved up and down. So in such a case, the here directly coupled load and motor will have an inertia J0, and directly coupled load has a torque TL0. The translational load has a mass m1, force F1, and velocity V1. So here also writing the formula for kinetic energy, total kinetic energy half j omega square is equal to directly coupled load Ke half j naught omega square plus the kinetic energy of translational load is half m1 v1 square. So dividing the total equation by omega m, you will get the relation j equals to j naught plus m1 v1 by omega whole square. So this is the moment of inertia of the directly coupled load and translational load. Similarly, equate for writing the formula for power, TL omega m is equal to power in directly coupled load TL naught omega plus power in the linear load, translational load, is given by force into velocity F1 V1 divided by eta 1. Here again we are uh, taking into account the losses, rotational losses in the rotational to linear motion transmission system. Eta 1 is the efficiency. Then you will get, by dividing the equation throughout by omega m, TL equal to TL naught plus F1 V1 by eta 1 omega m. So these are the inertia and load torques for directly coupled as well as translational loads. Load equalization. In some applications, load torque fluctuates widely within short intervals of time. The diagram shows here. For example, in pressing machines, A large torque of short duration is required during pressing operation. Otherwise, the torque is nearly zero. In such drives, if motor is required to supply peak torque demanded by the load, then motor rating has to be high. Also, motor will draw a pulsed current from the supply. This will give rise to line voltage fluctuations, which adversely affects other loads connected to the line. Such problems of fluctuating loads can be overcome by mounting a flywheel on the motor shaft. During high load period, load torque will be much larger compared to motor torque. So deceleration occurs if your motor has a drooping speed torque characteristics. You know, when deceleration occurs, it will produce a large dynamic torque J d omega by dt. Dynamic torque and motor torque together will now be able to produce load torque. During light load period, the motor torque exceeds load torque, causing acceleration. So speed increases again to original value. Here dynamic torque helps to store kinetic energy half j omega square. So thus, a motor with much smaller rating than peak load is sufficient, and peak current drawn by motor is also reduced by using flywheel. This is called load equalization. Moment of inertia of the flywheel is given here both in terms of high load period TH and light load period TL. Accordingly, J moment of inertia required is calculated. Finally, once J is obtained, the dimensions of required flywheel to be mounted on motor shaft are calculated using the relation J equal to WR square. Where W is the weight of the flywheel in kgs and R is the radius in meters. Thank you.